Hey everybody, thanks for joining us again as we bring you great weekly cool car content. Today is a special episode. When we met Brian Parks to shoot the feature on his cool 66 F100, we also met his son Carson. Carson's a car guy just like his dad. As a matter of fact, with Brian's help, Carson was able to obtain and restore and modify a sweet little first-gen Mustang Coupe. He drove it through high school, and now, all these years later, he still enjoys driving it, as he now has his beautiful wife and their precious child at his side. Obviously, the car is now a part of the family and will be with him forever, or at least we hope so. You'll really like this story, and only fellow car people can understand and appreciate the dedication it takes to complete and then hang on to your very special car. Now, let's go for a ride.
My name is Carson Parks, and I have a 1965 Mustang. I've had the car for about 20 years. My grandfather bought it in 1977 from a guy who worked at Luke Air Force Base, and I got the car in 2002 when my grandfather passed away. And it was a father-son project. It was the first car I drove when I turned 16. We got it when I was 13 or 14, and it had been sitting for about 20 years in my grandfather's backyard. So it wasn't running. The paint was pretty rough. The windows were cracked. The interior was split, and we had to cut it out of a bunch of grass that was overgrown on it. But we brought it home and we got it running. I spent a whole summer out here in Arizona sanding it down to bare metal, which definitely taught me a lot. Made me appreciate what I had and what we had put into it. But we spent a lot of hours on the car. Just me and my dad hanging out in the garage, and it's definitely something I would never take back. Some really great times and great experiences, and we took everything apart on the car. We took all the glass out, took all the chrome off. It was basically a bare shell when we got it painted. It was painted by Jazzy Auto Body out here in Arizona. I based it off a car I had seen. It was a 65 coupe. Actually, it had a roll cage. It was head scoop and everything, the picture that I wanted initially, but I'm extremely happy with the way it turned out. It took me a long time to find the blue that I wanted, and being 16, it was kind of a big life decision for me picking a color. But I love the way it turned out. They did a great job on the car, and it's held up really well over almost 20 years now as a daily driver. We ended up putting a rebuilt 289 out of a 68 Mustang in it. We do still have the original engine. We'll probably get rebuilt and put back in eventually. A few other things we did to it. It has a Pentronics ignition. We did front disc brakes on the car. Put in vintage air. It has a Champion aluminum radiator and fan, an electric fan. And then the most recent project we did was put in a AOD out of a late 80s Mustang, which has definitely changed the way the car drives. It's a little more gas friendly and can drive it on the freeway for longer distances now. The car also has some JBA headers and Flowmaster exhaust on it. I remember sitting in front of the computer with my dad for probably 2 or 3 hours just going through exhaust sounds on the internet, and we had it turned up loud, and the house was shaking and rattling. And my mom came in, she's like, "What are you guys doing?" But when you're 15 and getting a new car, you really care how it sounds, and those seem like big decisions when you want to be a cool 16-year-old. So, but it was fun. Just sitting there with my dad, just deciding what we wanted this car to sound like. As far as any future plans I have for the car, it's a car that I'll always have. I know it's just a car, but those memories that are attached to it, working in the garage all weekend with my dad, and just that time we spent on it hanging out has added so much value to the car. Something I'll probably do down the road is redo the original 289, maybe upgrade the suspension. I'd like to upgrade the power steering in it just so it can turn a little sharper. But I love driving it the way it is right now, so no big plans here in the near future for sure. Yeah, some of my favorite things about the car, I like that it's an old car. I like that you can feel it working, that you can feel the road under it. I also like that people think it's fast. I mean, the car looks kind of fast, but it's definitely definitely not a fast car with the 289 in it. But it's fun to drive, and I'll probably leave it that way for a long time. A few other things I love about the car are just the memories that are attached to it. Obviously, the first car I drove, the first car me and my dad restored together. It was my grandfather's car, my dad's car. It was the car me and my wife went on our first date in high school in. It was the car we drove after we got married. And, now that I have a little kid, hopefully she'll have some good memories in the car. But I know that I'll hold on to it for as long as I'm alive. And hopefully there's a lot more memories to come in this car.
I'm always envious of anyone that had the foresight to keep their first car. My first car was a '76 Ford Elite, and I never even thought about keeping it. It was very rusty and needed an engine rebuild, and probably most everything else. Although I've had many cars since then, that car still has a special place in my heart. What was your first car, and do you still have it, or at least one like it? Please share your comments. Next Sunday, we continue to bring you cars and stories that you'll rarely see on YouTube. How about a Plymouth Belvedere two-door sedan with a Dodge Viper V10 drivetrain? This one's all Mopar, and although it was built by an enthusiast in his home garage, it really looks pro-built. You don't want to miss this one. Until then, remember, please be careful out there.